Okay, so my first job was right here in Cincinnati. It was at the Tri-County Mall. It was at York Steakhouse.
My first job that my parents allowed me to have, because my parents didn't allow me to work during school for many, many years because they wanted me to focus on school. They said school was my job, but I wasn't a very good student, so they said, go get a job, right? So my first job was bagging groceries.
My first job was actually a lifeguard.
My first job ever was a lifeguarding job.
I worked every Saturday morning setting up the restaurant, which was hard to get up.
I remember at the time just complaining, whining and complaining about the things that I had to do at my job.
But it was nice because I just had this set schedule and I could make a little bit of extra money.
All we worked for were tips, but it was like the best job you could have in the neighborhood because you would make somewhere like, I don't know, like $120 in a day.
It was such an easy job. With that said, it was also a very serious job, and I did take it seriously.
No big save, but yeah, a couple close calls.
This little boy couldn't have been more than 3, older than 3. He was letting go of the edge and then grabbing back on and letting go, and he let go and then couldn't grab back on. And I just saw him go, ugh, and he slipped underwater, and I just ran up and grabbed him by his arm and hoisted him up. The kid started crying and said, "Oh, you hurt my arm," but I did save him technically.
I did have to do a backboard save though at one time. A kid was horsing around with another kid in the shallow end, and he came up crying that he had hit his head at the bottom of the pool. And so as a precaution, this is when I was an assistant manager, as a precaution we had to backboard him. So we did that. I had to clear the entire pool.
That was my first job. It was a lot of fun, and it taught me something, and I know now what real work is, and I shouldn't have been complaining about that.
So, that was my first job, bagging groceries.
So that was my first job and it was a great, great experience.